Hi, and welcome to my channel, Nudie Brainworks. I'm Vanessa Reyes, and today we will be discussing the benefits and experiences of practicing Vipassana in daily life. I have a guest today with me. His name is Po. He's a chemical engineer from Stanford University. Po, please introduce yourself.
Thanks, Vanessa. Hi, everyone. My name is Po, as Vanessa introduced, and today we'll be sharing our personal experiences with Vipassana meditation as taught by S.N. Goenka. I must say that there are different types of Vipassana meditation, and each technique is slightly different from one another. We're here to discuss our own experiences with the technique as taught by S.N. Goenka because it is a technique that we've been practicing for several years, and I think it might be benefit to share with you all our experiences and what we obtained from it and what our benefits that we feel from it, just in case for anyone who are curious and would like to know more about it.
Yes, another reason we would like to discuss this technique in particular is that both of us are based in Bangkok, Thailand. And as you know, in Thailand, we're a Buddhist country. So there are so many temples all around the country where you can go and learn different types of meditation, and including Vipassana or Vipassana. But the language of instruction is in Thai, and for foreigners, or if you don't speak Thai, it would be very hard. It would be impossible for you to come to Thailand, to fly to Thailand and learn Vipassana in our local temples. So we chose this, the technique taught by S.N. Goenka, because he has so many, I think hundreds of centers all around the world, thousands of teachers, and the language of instruction is English. And then will be translated into different local languages all around the world. As I counted last time I was a Dhamma server, at least 22 other languages that you can listen to even in the center in Thailand. So I think you'll benefit a lot. So let's dive in.
Dive in. Yes.
Okay.
Well, let's just start off. Many of you may want to know, what is Vipassana meditation?
So Vipassana meditation, the exact translation and the exact meaning is looking at things the way they are, without judgment or without attachment. That is the exact things you have to do, and with trying not to judge or trying not to be attached to things is pretty much very hard for human beings. So the concept is very, very simple, but the practical aspect of it, the practice of it, pretty much you have to do your whole life. But there are so many benefits as we will discuss today. So let's see.
Yeah, and I want to clarify a little bit further by saying observing things the way they are. You might think that, why is that so difficult, right? But when you think about it a little bit, you realize that every single day you react to things without really thinking about it. Maybe someone made you angry, someone made you feel sorry or feel bad, and your emotions sometimes get out of hand. That is, it gets out of your control. When eventually, if you look at things the way they are, the event itself may not be that serious, or it may not have the consequences that you think it may have. So in other words, you try to amplify or exaggerate the magnitude of the things that you see in each day. And Vipassana simply just allows you to observe things just the way they are, at the degree that they are, in the present, not in the future, not in the past.
At this point, you might wonder, what's in it for me? What do I get out of this technique? So let me ask you first. What was in it for you? What did you get out of Vipassana that you like it so much you keep practicing this technique every day, right? Every day, day and night. Okay, go ahead.
Well, first I must say that I'm by no means an expert Vipassana meditator. I just started this technique 3 years ago, but the reason I want to share with you is that I noticed the benefit of this technique even from the first time that I started, and I think that's how it should be. And you should not wait until you're an advanced meditator to start seeing the benefits. But what's really in it for me here that I would really like to share is that you can start seeing the benefits of Vipassana meditation right from the moment that you start to practice it. And you can experience these benefits along the way as you go along, and that's the beauty of this technique. For me, what's in it is that, I must take a step back and tell you a little bit about myself before I discovered this technique, or discovered Vipassana as taught by S.N. Goenka. Coming from a scientific family, I'm logic-based. I do things a lot through understanding and
hands-on.
And hands-on, yeah, actually, So a lot of times when I face with difficulties throughout my life, like problems or maybe situations where it's a bit stressful, what I experienced was that I tend to overthink things. I think things over and over again. It's kind of like running through your head. You might be familiar with this. Maybe some illogical fears that this may happen and eventually lead to this, and your mind keeps going on and on and on about the various scenarios that things can happen. And a lot of times this happens without my knowledge nor my control. I mean, sometimes I want to stop overanalyzing things, but it's not that simple to do it. You're just telling your mind to stop thinking and, hey, just don't think about it. It really doesn't work that way. And before, I wasn't really sure how to deal with this. I've tried breathing techniques, I've tried, listening to music or doing stuff to get my mind out of this. But all I found was that these techniques are just, just masking the effect. They're just covering up the effect, but it doesn't really solve the problem, from deep within you. And these things occur subconsciously, and a lot of times you have no control over it. One of the main benefits I discovered after practicing Vipassana is that it really helps with these things. When you start noticing things the way they are, you tend to stop overanalyzing things, and you tend to stop thinking about things over and over again. And that's one of the first benefit I noticed. And as you practice along the way, I noticed that this becomes better and better and better, and to a certain point where I think when large events happen in my life, you can look at things and react it in a controlled manner, like not overly reacting, not like letting your mind wander off, on and on and on again in your head. And I think that's really beneficial to me. What about you, Vanessa? What do you think?
So many things changed in my life since I started practicing Vipassana, because I've been learning so many different types of meditations. As you know, I'm half Thai American, and I just love the environment that everyone practice meditation. I tried so many different techniques available in Thailand, because since you're here, it's better to capitalize on those various things that we have available. And I see that other types of techniques, I'm not here to condemn anyone or say that other techniques are not good. All the teachers that have taught me have been so kind to me, and the various techniques that I learned really did help me so much in many different ways. But Vipassana, I can see that it changed me from the inside out. Other types of meditations that I have practiced before, sometimes you have verbalizations. So the verbalization really helped calm me down so much, and it was really helpful when I was doing the meditation, when I was in the meditation, not talking to anyone, actually closing my eyes and using verbalizations. But I see myself, because I know I experience this myself from the inside out. So I know that when I come out of my meditation, I get agitated a lot easier, because I can feel that the world is so busy. Everyone is talking in the wrong way. They're not kind enough. They're not nice enough. Why can't they just be nice so I can be calm, like when I was in my meditation? And at one point in my life, when I was about 18, many years ago, I started one type of meditation, and I came out of the retreat. I told my mother, at that time I was going to school in the States, I told her, I do not want to go to school anymore. I really want to become a nun, because it felt so peaceful and so calm. And my mom was like, please just go to school, just have your college degree. And then if you still want to stay in the temple, be a nun, whatever, do that. But you need to have the worldly knowledge. So if you don't like the life of a nun, you can come out and actually have a living. And thank God I didn't, do that. And I went on for my education, completed my master's at Harvard University. I have something that I can use to start a worldly life. And then with that life, I found Vipassana. You don't have to go and live in a temple to practice Vipassana. You can have your life and then practice this along the way, alongside the life that you chose. It will change you in some aspects that will make you have a more harmonious life. It will for me, it actually helped me deal with a lot of my feelings. I think I'm different from Po. He's a man, so his life is I think it's very different from being a woman, because I feel as a woman you have to protect yourself a lot. So many things come your way, and sometimes you feel helpless. The defense mechanism of a woman going to school in a different country. I went back to school in the States. My family was back in Thailand. I feel I have to protect myself. The way I protect myself is that sometimes I have to become very aggressive. Some people say it's assertive. I would say I took it so far as being very aggressive. In order to be aggressive, to protect yourself and you're away from your family, you have to become pretty angry. You can't be aggressive without being angry. So I find myself that I become more and more angry as years go by, and I just don't know how to handle it. And a lot of times I cause damage to my emotion. I cause damage to people around me just by being angry, and I didn't know how to handle it. And learning the technique of Vipassana really helped me put things in perspective. Before Vipassana, I never knew that if somebody said bad things to you, instead of suppressing your anger or actually taking your anger out and taking care of the situation, as I used to call it, you have a third option. You just observe. And I used to think that just observing was a sign of weakness, but actually no. It takes so much restraint not to go after the people you think had wronged you. And the third option really gave me a new path to just having the life that I knew in a different way. Some people might say it's same but different. You come back to your life, everything's the same, but you have the third option. And thank God for the third option. It really did. Since I practiced from 3 years ago, around the same time as Po, I can see that I have been very different. My feelings, my emotions have been very different. Interactions with people around me have been very, very different. I would say it's more harmonious, more happiness, more peace, and I would credit it to Vipassana. And I would have to put a note right here that I'm not a very good meditator. I would never say I'm an expert. The reason I'm here to share right here at this point in my life, even though I know that I'm not a very good meditator at all, is that even though I would describe myself as a person not good at meditating at all, I see benefits, and I think it's amazing. So these tiny little benefits, day in, day out, really, drag me along this path or pull me along this path, and I feel like I would never stop, because the more I walk on this path, the more benefits I would get, more and more and more. So I'm truly enjoying the small benefits I'm getting every day. I'd say it's small, but it changed my life completely. So yeah.
Yeah, and I have to reiterate, growing up, I only know how to do two things. When you're faced with some emotion or something that you don't like, you either suppress it or you express it. And those were the only two options growing up. And if I were to compare myself to, my mind, compare that to like a bin, when you experience these negative emotions, and I tend to suppress it. So it's kind of like stuffing this bin, with trash throughout the years since the time I'm growing up. I just keep stuffing it with experiences that I'm not happy of, or I'm disappointed, or all these things that I faced in life growing up. And to a certain point, I feel like this bin of mine is overflowing, and I don't know how to get these trash out of the bin. And by doing things,
you were almost depressed at one point.
I was almost reaching the point of depression at one time. And I feel like if I go out to listen to music or watch a movie or do some fun stuff to distract myself, that doesn't really help in removing trash from my bin. But actually what that does is that it just covers the bin with a lid, so you don't really see it temporarily. And eventually your bin's gonna overflow. And at that point, I felt like my bin was overflowing, because any slight event that came into my life, I just blew up, right? I can't take it anymore. And these slight little events were a big source of agitation for me, because I didn't know how to remove stuff from my bin, and it was overflowing. And luckily, by the luck of the draw, I found this technique, and it was the first time that I felt like this is the way to remove trash from my bin. And the more you do it, the more trash you remove from your bin, and it becomes better and better and better. But as you empty a trash can or a bin, in the process, it's not that pretty. It doesn't, always.
And it doesn't smell good.
It doesn't smell good because it's been, saving up all over the years. But what it does is that if you can get through this process, you feel a lot lighter. You feel a lot better in terms of handling these events that come into your life. That you experience the same thing?
I can relate to that, but we're different. I think boys and girls are different, or men and women are different. Yeah. Because for men, I think society would expect you, when you are sad or when you're angry, to not show. I have heard that some guys in Thailand, even at their mother's funeral, they don't cry. They lost the way of learning how to cry, to actually express what you feel inside. For girls, on the other hand, society allows us to show whatever. It's okay for girls to be weak. It's very okay. It's being feminine. And so for girls, when things happen in my life, I'll just show it. People ask me, "Are you okay?" Or if I'm angry, I'll just show it because I'm so used to showing it. And showing it doesn't actually expressing it. I think we are on the different spectrum of the same problem. Expressing it actually is not taking the trash out. You're making another person even more angry, and then that person sends back the energy. I think I get more trash than you.
Like you're throwing trash at other people.
And they're throwing the trash back, and now I have like double the trash. So I think suppressing it or expressing it is not the answer. I think that the third option is very, very, has been an eye-opening experience for me.
Yeah, the technique itself is very simple. It's very, very simple.
It's so simple to explain. You can actually say it in like 30 seconds, I think.
Right, and it has no religious connotation. It's like a technique that you learn, just like swimming, just like riding a bicycle. These things are not religion dependent. It has no religious context to it, and that's the beauty of it. Anyone from any religion can practice it, just like you learn how to swim. Everyone in every religion can learn how to swim, and it's a technique that really helps you keep the balance of your mind. And I must say that a lot of people, I'm sure everyone knows how to take care of their body, right? You eat well, you exercise, you don't do drugs. Everyone knows this, and everyone to some extent carries this out in their daily life. But Vipassana is a way of taking care of your mind, and this, not everyone knows about it, where everyone should actually know about this, because to me, the health of your mind might even be more important than the health of your body, because if your body is weak, or if you face an accident and your body is not functional, but if your mind is clear, if your mind is balanced, then you can live a happy life. But in contrast, if your mind is out of balance, even though you have a super strong body, that is going to be pretty miserable for you.
In extreme cases, that would be suicide. I work with a foundation in Thailand that helps prevent suicide. It's a suicide hotline. And every time that I heard a perfectly healthy individual committed suicide, I would think like, how sad is that? Because if you are in, your mind is in a balanced state, someone comes to take your life, you would defend that person. You would not let it happen so easily. So for someone who's perfectly healthy in the body and take away their life, it's like, for me, it's a most extreme case of like, it's very sad. So I think, I do agree with you that keeping the mind healthy and balanced is the utmost important.
ถ้าชอบคลิปนี้อย่าลืมกด Subscribe ช่องดูดี Brain Works และกดกระดิ่งแจ้งเตือนจะได้ไม่พลาดคลิปใหม่ๆก่อนใครนะครับ